Hello, my name is Valentino, and today I'll be presenting a guide on how you can obtain Foxhound Rank for Metal Gear Solid Delta in Legacy style. There are a few key differences in Legacy style compared to New style. Most notably, there is a top-down camera, very much like the original Metal Gear Solid 3 release. There is also a different control scheme and some unique mechanics, such as being able to lean left and right, or not having bullet drop on your tranquilizer. This overall makes for a unique experience that is much more akin to the original Metal Gear Solid 3 as opposed to New Style, which plays more like Ground Zero or Phantom Pain. Now, there is not a ton of Legacy style content out there for Delta, however, it is my preferred way to play the game overall, and I've had some people request that I make a Foxhound guide for Legacy style specifically. So, if you're watching this video, I hope it will help you out, or that you'll at least find it entertaining. Throughout this video guide, I will show you multiple strategies and how you can tackle different rooms and bosses throughout the game. However, I do have a few disclaimers before we get started, and they are on screen here as follows. Before you do a Foxhound Rank playthrough, I strongly recommend you play on New Game Plus and obtain at least these following camos, if not more. These camos make certain sections of the game significantly easier, and I'd strongly recommend you take the time to just play through on very easy, skip all the cutscenes, go through the story, etc. to get these camos. It also gives you access to the Patriot, which is very useful for some fights, most notably versus the Pain and Volgin 1. However, I do present various strategies regardless if you're playing on New Game or New Game Plus, but I strongly recommend New Game Plus for the easiest experience available. Number 2, be familiar with the following mechanics, such as tactical reload, leaning and standing tall in first-person view or behind cover, and how to use the CQC hold or CQC slam when dealing with enemies or bosses. If you're not familiar with these mechanics, I will show you how to do them throughout the run, but it does help if you're at least well acquainted with them. One last thing to note, because this guide does use multiple takes and cuts for different strategies, you may notice slight discrepancies between rooms with my ammo count. This will never actually matter for your run, as I always make sure you have enough ammo to clear each room, and also get consistent pickups between each room if possible. So, don't worry about running out of ammo throughout this guide. It should never happen unless you mess up. Delta also offers a lot of player expression in how you can tackle the bosses in different areas. The ways I will show you is based on my playstyle, but if you think something can be done different, in a better way, or in an easier way, please let me know. Otherwise, let's get started. Now, I'll be loading a New Game Plus save file. However, if you're doing a new game save, I would strongly recommend that you pick the one that says, I like everything in the MGS series, as it gives you grenade camo, which allows you to have infinite grenades of any type, like smoke grenades, stun grenades, etc. It's very useful. However, if you pick I like MGS 1 or I like MGS 2, those are also great alternatives. Now, after we obtain Snake's backpack, you will notice me throughout this run roll a ton, especially if I have free distance to clear through. Rolling is significantly faster in Delta compared to running, so you will see it as an optimal way to clear distance. Some people may find it annoying, but it is the quickest way to get around. This room is pretty simple. Run over that alligator's head, and just roll over the gaps in the mud so you don't get stuck, and proceed to the next room. This upcoming room is pretty simple. As soon as the guard in the distance starts to move, you can shoot him with your tranquilizer, then make your way up after you headshot him to knock him out. For the next guard, you can CQC slam him, you can shoot him with the tranquilizer, or you can shoot him with the tranquilizer in the body, roll into him, and this will knock him out immediately. This is called a trank roll. You can also do what's called a bump roll on this guard, where you bump into him, roll, and by the time he's able to get up, you're in the next room, and you don't have time for a caution. Now, the bridge is pretty simple. We're not going to do anything too crazy. Just shoot the beehive. It's going to attack the guard right below. You don't even have to hide behind this tree. I just kind of do it out of reflex. But anyway, he'll run across the bridge and clear out the rest of the guards, and then you can proceed as normal. Just move on up ahead, and don't go too far until you see the 2 guards ahead turn around. Then you can just book it across. For the first guard, we can aim our gun, go in first-person view, stand tall, and this will automatically line up for a quick headshot. We can headshot the other guard on the left, and then either headshot or triple body shot this guard to knock him out. You don't really have to worry about accuracy. As long as you're quick enough, he will not call for a caution. We're going to make our way to Sokolov's room. Now, there are 2 ways you can approach this last guard on the top right there. You could either roll into him, then roll into Sokolov's room while he's down, or if you're not confident in the roll, you can actually just run up, CQC slam him, and then go into Sokolov's room.
He's a member of the...
Once you get control of Snake again, you can just roll over the bodies and head down back to the bridge. We're going to get to the cure menu section, and that will end the Virtuous Mission. Throughout this run, you will also see an input display at the bottom of the screen for my Xbox controller. This may be useful for some people if you're curious as to how I do these inputs, what speed, what timing, etc. Now for the cure menu, the order is always 3 cuts, a bone injury, another cut, and then another bone injury. Unless you really want to speedrun it, don't worry too much. I just like to go fast as I'm so used to playing this sequence many, many times.
So how does it feel? Yesterday,
For the start of Operation Snake Eater, all you really have to do is just go to the room where the boss will ambush you. Make your way through either by rolling, running, whatever you prefer. When you get control of Snake, run north and start rolling up until the tree on the right. You're going to see the guards notice your presence, but as long as you're quick, they won't actually spot you. From here, CQC slam this guard, then run north to the bridge, and then we'll move on to the next section. Now, there are 2 ways you can approach the bridge. There is a quick way, it's a little more difficult. You're basically just going to roll all the way across the side away from the guard, roll in between the trees, run to where the bridge is, and just keep on rolling until you hit the end. If you do this correctly, none of the guards will see you, you don't have to interact with them, and then you can go to Razvet. Now, I also recognize this is a little hard to do, so this can be the alternate method. Roll to the side of this guard, then CQC slam him. The guard right next to him will not hear you, so you can just run up and then CQC slam him as well. And from there, you can just roll across the bridge and go into Razvet. You won't have to worry about the other guard on the top left. He will not spot you. There's no real reason to worry. These are 2 methods you can take if you're not comfortable just rolling past and you're worried about the guards spotting you. Now we're coming up to Rasvit, and then shortly after we're going to fight the Ocelot unit. If you're on a new game save, the AK-47 is on the top left of the map, on the top of the stairs. I would recommend picking it up for the pain in the first Volgin fight, potentially. Otherwise, we can actually just go to where Sokolov's room was. We can pick up the thermal goggles, depending on your method, to fight the end. And otherwise, we can head out the door and then save afterwards to fight the Ocelot unit. We're not going to save immediately, though. We're first going to skip all the cutscenes and make sure our menu and our items are optimized. What I would recommend doing is opening up your backpack, equip your Mark 22, M19, and stun grenades. You can basically unequip anything else. You may also equip the Patriot if you'd like, but otherwise, have your Mark 22 and your stun grenades set, and then save. At the start of the fight, go underneath the floor and turn to the right with your Mark 22 ready. You're going to body shot the two guards, one that's coming in from the left, and then the other guard to the right of you. Then, you're going to shoot the gate behind them. When you shoot the gate, it will cause the 4 Ocelot unit members that were going to barge into your room to instead go out the side and stay around a hole near the building. This allows you to throw a stun grenade to knock out all 4 of them at once, which you can see shortly. Just make sure that all 4 of them are around. You can peep out here. They won't be able to see you. Toss the stun grenade and look away. If you did it correctly, all 4 of them are knocked out. It's also around this time the 2 guards who body shot will be knocked out. If you do this correctly at this time, you should only have 4 Ocelot unit members to shoot. Now we're going to shoot the guard on the roof. Stand behind this wall, go into first-person view, and stand on your tiptoes. If you're too late to shoot him, shoot the wall to attract his attention. When Snake is behind cover, even if he's on his tiptoes or leaning left and right, his model doesn't actually move from his original position. Thus, the guard will not be able to see you, even though it looks like you should be able to. Once you headshot that guard, go down left towards the stairs, and we're going to shoot a guard that's opposite of us. You can see very shortly, he's behind this wall. After we shoot him, we're going to crouch walk and stay right behind that wall, then go into first-person view, lean, and there's a guard behind the tree. When we get a clear shot, we can take him out. Again, he will not be able to see us, and we're going to do the same thing here, except there's a guard all the way in the distance, which you can headshot, and thus end the Ocelot unit fight. Now, if you want to do the flashy method, look to the right, aim, and stand on your tiptoes to body shot this guard. Then go down south to where the window is, get on your tiptoes again, aim, and then headshot the guard on the left. When you hear a guard say, "Must have been my imagination," roll over these boxes, go in first person, lean right, throw the stun grenade. If you do this correctly, it'll knock out or at least stun the remaining Ocelot units that you can roll into or CQC slam. Go back to your room, but don't go inside the door. Instead, lead by the frame, then headshot the guard. Roll over this ledge, go to the left, get up, and you can either headshot or double body shot the guard in the distance, depending on your aim and angle. Afterwards, go around this corner, look left, headshot this guard. Then there's only one more guard we have to take care of. He's in the top right of the room. Get behind these barrels, headshot him, and there you go. That's the Ocelot unit. This method is not easy. It takes a lot of practice, but it's considerably faster and honestly way cooler than the first method. Whatever works for you is up to you. Now, coming up, we're going to the pond. There is a gator here that we can shoot with our M19, AK-47, or Patriot. He gives 3 pieces of meat that are actually pretty good for stamina replenishment. I like to shoot him in case I want to use spider camo a lot, or if I get shot by the end to replenish my stamina. So once you do that, just shoot him, go to the left, and swim through the left using the fast swim button. It's probably the action button on your controller. Then once you get out of the pond, you can cure the leeches in the cure menu with the cigar. Now for this room, when you're left of this tree, you can either roll or just crawl normally underneath this fence. To avoid the claymores on the ground, go all the way left around this tree, and then stop by the tree before the tightrope to knock out the 2 dogs to your left and right. When you shoot these 2 dogs, it's going to cause a guard on the other side to start making his way around, but it'll take him a very long time to get there. So just climb up the tree, take a few steps, then hop off. You won't have to worry about him at all. Get in between these 2 trees and then shoot the 2 guards past the electric fence. They won't be able to see you, and they shouldn't cause a caution. Then go to the top left and then shoot the dog when you have an opening. There is another guard on the top right. However, if you're quick enough, you probably won't have to shoot him. But if you notice a guard starting to walk towards where the dog is, then you should wait, shoot him, and then go when the coast is clear. Otherwise, head to the top left. Once you enter this room, just take aim and shoot the guard right ahead of you. He shouldn't spot you as long as you don't wait too long. Move up a bit, past these 2 trees. You're going to notice a guard on your left. He's right by the wall. You should shoot him. Move up a bit, switch to your M19, and you're going to shoot these barrels, one on the right and then one straight ahead. The game considers kills by barrels to be accidental and thus not an actual kill on your scorecard. Anyway, we're going to fight Ocelot. Have your Mark 22 and your stun grenades ready. Make sure your Mark 22 does not have a suppressor. There are a few ways you can take out Ocelot, and I'm going to show you after we save. Now, regardless of the method I show you, remember this. If Ocelot is distracted, throw a stun grenade. This happens, for example, the first time you shoot him, if you shoot the goat, the beehive, when he's reloading, or when the guards cover for him when his stamina is less than or equal to 1 bar. The first method I will show you does not use grenade camo. The second one does. Both are viable. The only difference is at the end of the first method, there's a little bit of a scramble to get the last shot, but you should take minimal damage regardless. When the fight starts, aim behind the rock, stand on your tiptoes, and try to shoot Ocelot in the head. The first time you shoot him, the guards will cover for you. Throw a stun grenade. Afterwards, while Ocelot's stunned, get a headshot, then shoot the beehive. If you're quick enough, you should catch him just as he's getting his hat, or the beehive will catch him. Either way, throw a stun grenade, turn around, shoot him in the head. When you shoot him again, switch to your M19, shoot the goat. This will distract him. Another free headshot. As you see, he has 1 health bar left, so line up that headshot. From here, there's a bit of a scramble situation. Depending what Ocelot does, it doesn't really matter. You just need to shoot him 1 more time. With grenade camo, the fight otherwise plays out similarly, except in the scramble situation, you just throw 1 last stun grenade while he's distracted to end the fight. And as you can see, it's very similar here. Even if you don't shoot his hat, the scenario plays out the same. Your positioning just might differ a bit. As you see, stun grenades do stamina damage, leading to another free headshot, leading to the goat being shot. Throw a stun grenade again. And as you see, like, it's basically a loop. He almost has no opportunity to shoot you. When you defeat Ocelot non-lethally and then skip over the cutscenes, at the bottom of this crevice, his camo, the animal's camo, should be right in front of you. This is extremely useful, so just pick it up if you have not done so already. I've also brightened up the screen considerably thanks to the power of editing, as it is otherwise extremely dark. If you cannot see, I would recommend turning up the brightness in your game settings to make the path much easier. Otherwise, you can follow what I do. As an additional note, this take between Ocelot and the Pain was done with the grenade camo. However, there is a pickup later on in the docks for stun grenades, regardless if you used grenade camo or not, so don't worry about running out. Coming up, we're going to fight the Pain. If you do not have grenade camo, make a detour to the right and then pick up the shotgun. In Delta, the Pain can only have his B armor destroyed by 1 smoke grenade, 2 grenades of any type, or 4 shotgun blasts. If you do have grenade camo, then you don't need to pick up the shotgun. However, I'll demonstrate a method regardless of if you have grenade camo or not. I do play the fight as if I have 3 smoke grenades, and also demonstrate how to do a tactical reload with the shotgun so you can get headshots with the Mark 22 after. Before we enter the pain fight, we just want to optimize our loadout a bit. Have your Mark 22, Patriot, or AK-47. Also have the shotgun and your smoke grenades ready. Start off with the Patriot as your current weapon and your Mark 22 as the previous. And then we are going to save. When the fight starts, you want to blast the pain in his torso with your Patriot, AK-47, or M19 to make him recoil. You don't want him to fall down, but if he recoils, this will stop his B pheromone attack. From there, we can switch to our Mark 22 and try to get 3 or 4 headshots until he activates his B armor. Let's demonstrate it now. When the pain gets his B armor, switch to your smoke grenade, throw it at him, and keep your aim steady. Do not adjust your aim at all from here. Then, once the armor is gone, you're going to do tactical reloads to get headshots on him. Tactical reloads are key for this fight. They're really important. Again, do not adjust your aim. Just switch to a smoke grenade, then shoot him with the Mark 22 until phase 2 starts. Let's demonstrate it now. Now when phase 2 starts, you immediately want to dive underwater as soon as you can to make sure the bullet bees don't hit you. If they do, they'll do a ton of damage and you have to take them out of Snake in the cure menu. Now, remember this. Snake is invincible during his get-up animation when he's climbing up a rock. You can time it to actually avoid damage from grenade explosions. For the bullet bees and bee swarms, the easiest way to avoid them is dive underwater and wait until they're gone. For the bullet bees, you can actually look up while Snake is underwater and you can see the red lines disappear. For the bee swarms, you can actually move to another spot underwater, come up for air, or if you have the brown face paint, you can just wait them out. For the pain's Tommy gun attack, you want to get behind the rock while you're floating and just wait out the bullets. He'll usually attack 2 times, but sometimes he'll do 3 or even 4. If you have headphones or a really good speaker, you can actually hear him throw his Tommy gun away, and that's your cue to get up. If you throw a smoke grenade while the pain is throwing his B pheromone attack at you, they may not actually swarm you and instead get caught in the smoke. So, just something to keep in mind. Also, here's an example of using the shotgun as a tactical reload to blast off his B armor. If you have grenade camo, you don't need to do this. And that's the pain. Now, I do recognize I did not showcase a lot of the pain's attacks. I did provide explanations on how to dodge them, but during my take, I actually took him out very quickly. If you want another in-depth example of how to take out the pain, please refer to Perfect Stealth's guide, as he made an excellent video breaking down the pain. After the cutscene, you can shoot the mangoes and the snake there, as they are really good food items that replenish a lot of stamina. While I didn't pick them up throughout this run, I think it is important to know if you have trouble with stamina management. We are going to the left and shooting these claymores with a shotgun, just to pick up some additional ammo. After we shoot the claymores to pick up some ammo, we'll move on up ahead and roll off the cliff to go into the next area, which is the river. We can do this in 2 different ways. I'll demonstrate whether or not you're on New Game or New Game Plus with the brown face paint and snake camo. Otherwise, we're just going to clean up our menus a bit. We're going to have our Mark 22 with a suppressor and our M19, as we will need it for the docks before the warehouse. Now this is the method you're going to use if you don't have brown face paint, which gives you infinite oxygen while you're underwater. Go underwater and you're basically going to want to hang right. Ensure that your camo index is around 19, maybe 20%. Stay to the right of the searchlight. The guard shouldn't see you at all unless you swim directly underneath it. Again, stay right. Come up for air when you need it. You should only have to do it once or twice, depending on your current stamina level, as that's where the oxygen starts to deplete. I'd actually recommend having a quick bite to eat beforehand if you can. For this last searchlight, just wait here until it's clear, then go forward, get up for air again if you have to, and then you can move on to the docks. Now, if you have the brown face paint and a camo that gives you higher camo index underwater, an example would be Snake or the water camo, throw both of them on, and you don't ever really have to resurface. You can basically hang right the entire time, and for the third searchlight, you can actually literally just swim past it. The guard may notice your presence, but he won't actually do anything. Once you have control of Snake again, headshot the guard in front of you, then switch to your M19 to shoot the barrels on the right and then on the left. This will kill all the other guards that were by the doorway, but it will not count as a kill for you. It also does additional stamina damage to the end. Just as a disclaimer, this is a part where I cut by using the autosave, which is why I'm back in Tiger Stripe, just as a demonstration between using the brown face paint or the Snake camo. Anyway, pick up the ammo, the stun grenades, and the smoke grenades. This is where I'm going to do another manual save, which is called Warehouse 1. And there are a few different ways you can approach this area. For the quick method, you're going to want to roll up the stairs, curve the stick against the wall, and then roll such that you roll over the boxes and the fence. You're going to CQC slam this guard, roll up this set of stairs, roll up this set of stairs, and then CQC slam this guard. Afterwards, go in here, pick up the noodles and calorie mates, and do 3 punch-punch-kick buffers. This passes enough time for us so that we can time ourselves to roll up the stairs again and CQC slam the guard at the top. Afterwards, we can just move on ahead to the next area. There's also a different method here. Now, I do recognize the previous method is difficult, so you can roll up the stairs. Instead, go down right by this box in between the wall and the fence, aim, get on your tiptoes, and headshot this guard. Aim at the lower part of this rail and wait for a guard to start walking. You should get a pretty clear headshot on him in just a moment. Afterwards, go down the stairs, look forward, get on your tiptoes, and then shoot the guard in the middle. Afterwards, you can either headshot the guard or just underneath the stairs, you can use your lethal weapon to shoot a barrel that will explode and kill him. Afterwards, you can just make your way up the stairs, no problem at all. In the middle of the room, you can see a pickup right there on top of the boxes. That is a Mark 22 suppressor. You can pick that up now, but if not, we're going to pick one up shortly in the lab. It doesn't matter what you do, both are fine. Now, this forest area is full of traps, but as long as you just stay on the right side of that big tree and follow the path I'm taking, you won't trigger any of them. There is one tightrope you need to be wary of. You can see it coming up, but if you roll over it, there's nothing to worry about. Afterwards, you can roll on top of this ledge and move to the next area, but I'd recommend switching to your leaf camo and woodland before you do that. Now, when you get to this area, don't roll, just hug the wall and go left to avoid having the dog spot you. Once you get past the dog's vision, you can aim, headshot this guard, and just move on all the way to the left to crawl underneath the hole in the fence, and then make your way in towards the lab. Now, for inside the walls, we're just going to play it safe. Shoot the guard all the way across the map. Afterwards, look left to shoot the guard closest to you, then the one a little closer to the wall. Even if you miss, he doesn't appear to hear the bullet, so just don't worry too much. Up ahead, just past this truck, you can see a guard all the way at the end. You can headshot him. If you're very quick, you could CQC him. It's really up to you. In either case, That guard we just shot also should have Mark 22 ammo, so I would suggest going up to him and then looting his body for some additional Mark 22 ammo. Afterwards, we're going to go inside the lab. This is where I like to save as well. Make sure when you're in the lab, you have the scientist uniform on and no face paint. This is going to be where our next save is. As long as you don't punch the guards, hurt anybody, do rolls, etc., the guards will not notice you. Once you enter the lab, all you have to do is just follow this path I'm taking. Again, as long as you're not acting suspicious, the guards will not do anything when they see you in the scientist uniform with no face paint on. You can do anything you want outside of their view. Just be wary of where they are. Now, when you get to the bottom floor, you can do a roll down these stairs. Just don't roll again to avoid drawing suspicion of this guard. We're going to pick up the SIG gas spray, which is in this room coming up on our right. It's extremely useful against the end. Afterwards, run out the door, go into the next room, go straight up, and turn right. Now, contrary to what I said before, the guards will not notice you, but the scientists recognize you're not one of them and will get suspicious. But there is a brief window before they cause an alert that we're going to exploit. There's a scientist straight ahead. We're going to do a bump roll like we did in the Virtuous Mission. We bump into him, then roll into him and the guard. This will knock them over, allowing us to get into Grandin's room before they cause a caution or an alert. I'll demonstrate it now. Once we get control of Snake, we're going to do 2 punch-punch-kick buffers. This times it such that the guard and the scientist, when we open the door, are looking away. We can pick up this Mark 22 suppressor in between the desks and then make our way out back up to the first floor of the lab. We don't really have to worry about any guards or scientists. They're not going to bother us. As a note, if you want to roll up these stairs, make sure you're close to the wall and make sure you roll immediately. Otherwise, that guard will spot you and start to get suspicious. If you don't want to risk that and you're not confident, just run up the stairs. He's not going to do anything. Once you get past this guard and get behind this wall, we can change back to our regular outfit and have our Mark 22. We're going to be taking out 2 guards that are close to us. However, our stamina is probably below half at this point, so just have a quick bite to eat before you do that. Anyway, have your Mark 22 and stun grenades equipped and head out into the interior. Start this room off by shooting the guard straight ahead of you and then the one to the left. Now you're just going to go down all the way south. You're not going to roll, just run. Go south. Once you get close to the wall, make a left. This times it such that the guard will be looking away, who's normally near the truck. Then you can roll into this patch of grass and escape through the hole in the wall. Now for the outside wall, you're going to want to stand by the corner and use the lean technique to shoot the dog and the guard closest to you. It may take a little bit to get the positioning, but it's not too difficult. Anyway, make your way down through the hole in the fence, and then we're going to go south to fight the fear. Again, make sure you have your stun grenade ready. In Legacy style, there is a very easy exploit that we can use to take out the fear without using any Mark 22 ammo, and we can defeat him basically instantly. It's very similar to the original Metal Gear Solid 3, which had the same exploit, but this does not work in new style. We are going to save before we actually start the fear fight. You'll need to answer this Kodak call before you do. Also, do not cure the poison, otherwise this setup will not work. I repeat, do not cure the poison. At the start of the fight, go to the top right of the map, right in between these 2 trees, then use your fake death pill. This will cause the fear to approach Snake. He can come in from a lot of different angles, but generally this position will be good for all of them. When the fear turns around, use your revival pill and throw a stun grenade in front of him. Then we're going to walk into that tightrope, go prone. This will cause the trap to hit the fear while he's stunned, and if he takes damage from a trap while stunned, he takes stamina damage. This counts as a non-lethal kill and lets us defeat the fear super easily. Make sure the camera is also centered on him, otherwise he may not take the stamina damage. Anyway, You can get his spider camo here if you have not done so already. Cure the poison, and then we're going in to the next area, often called Warehouse 2, and I will show you 2 ways to complete it, with or without spider camo. Now, if you want to use spider camo, put it on and make sure you have just a bit over, I'd say, half stamina. Make your way down to the right, past the barrels and boxes to where this rail is. Drop down, catch the rail, and then drop down again. There's a guard below you that you're going to roll into. It will cause the guard on the stairs to get distracted. You can then roll into him. Afterwards, you can go past the door, roll up the stairs, and move on to the next area. Now, if you don't want to use spider camo, instead, you can go beside these barrels, aim on your tiptoes, and then shoot the guard in the distance. Afterwards, make sure you hug the wall, go by the barrels, and look down in first-person view. There is a guard you can see at the bottom right next to Snake's hand. When he turns around, you're going to go down to this rail, hang, drop down, and then catch yourself. Drop down again, then look left and use the lean technique to take out this guard. If your suppressor goes out, make sure you re-equip it. CQC this guard, and for the guard in the middle, as long as you're quick enough with decent camo, he should not spot you. If you're too late or you're not confident, throw a smoke grenade at him instead. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next area, Sviato Gornye. Once we enter this area, we're going to just go right, follow the path. Once we get past this little narrow corridor, there's going to be a stump object that we'll hide behind to shoot a guard just to the left of us. You can move up a bit right by this large tree, and then you can shoot the guard. The trees in front of you actually provide blockage, so you don't really have to worry about him spotting you, but I wouldn't go over that terrain as it causes a lot of noise and he'll hear you. Anyway, there's another guard here on the left in between the entire patch, and if you're quick enough, just roll past these trees, follow the path I'm taking. There's another guard here that we can CQC slam, and we can loot him twice to get some Mark 22 ammo. Now coming up, we're going to fight the End. The goal of this video I'm going to show you is how to take out the End in one room, using what's basically an AI exploit to lure him back in the room that we start in. It does take some practice and timing to consider, but once you get it, it's very satisfying, and it's way quicker than just chasing him down the old-fashioned way. Now we're going to skip the cutscene, and before we save, what we're going to do is optimize our bag loadout. You're going to want to have both your Mark 22 and M19 unsuppressed, along with a SIG gas spray. You'll also want to have your leaf camo and woodland on, along with smoke grenades and stun grenades. Then you can save. There is a lot to talk about for this strategy to beat the End in a timely manner and in one room. I'm first going to show you the 2 spawn points that he can show up and where you can safely snipe him without getting spotted. The first spawn point I will show is when he appears on the left mountain. When you get control of Snake, go north to that log just up ahead and stand to the right of it. Go in first person view, lean right and look left. You should see the End's scope glinting. Then you can shoot him 3 times with your Mark 22. If you realize the End spawns on the right side, go to the middle of the log instead, then look right and you can see a scope. Just shoot him 3 times. Now, after we shoot the End 3 times, we're going to go to the right of this tree and do about 9 or 10 punch kick combos, whatever takes away about 20 seconds. After the End has left an area for 20 seconds, if you fire an unsuppressed weapon, like with your unsuppressed M19, it notifies him of your location, and he spawns in an area relative to where you are right now. So we use a smoke grenade to cover ourselves, wait for it to go off, fire a few M19 shots, then we're going to make our way left, over this patch of grass, over this log, and in between this tree, right here. He's a little bit hard to see, but I've circled where you can see his arm. If you do this correctly, the end will always spawn in this location after you fire the M19 unsuppressed shots. Now, we're going to throw a stun grenade where the end is. Look away. While he's stunned, we're going to run up to him, shoot him twice with the tranquilizer. Then we're going to aim our weapon at his face to hold him up. When the end gets down on the ground, we're going to shoot him 3 times in the head. Let's demonstrate it now.
I can't see.
Freeze! How did you?
After you get that third shot, run to the top left of the map in between the 2 trees. Wait for the end's stun grenade to go off. Turn around and then look in first person view. The end is running towards you. As soon as he's about to run into you and turn in, you're going to punch him twice, then shoot him twice with the Mark 22. I know this can seem a little difficult, but I'll demonstrate it now. If you're having trouble, try to follow my inputs along as I do the sequence.
I've got a present for you.
After you shoot the end a second time, he's going to run away back to the center of the map, basically where Snake spawned at the start of the fight. He's going to pick one of 2 spots, so we are going to follow him, throw a stun grenade at him, then we're going to do the same sequence of shoot him twice, hold him up, then shoot him 3 times. Let's demonstrate it now.
Freeze! Where did you?
We are almost done this fight. After you shoot the end with the third shot, go back in between the trees like you did when you punched him twice and then shot him twice with the Mark 22. We're going to do the exact same thing. Instead, it's going to be 2 punches and 2 SIG gas spray puffs. You do need to be quick to make it to the left side of the map in between the trees like before. I would recommend rolling as much as possible to clear distance, as the end is very fast. If at any point the end escapes because he ran away from you and goes into another loading zone, you can chase him down, or you can make him respawn in the same point by running to the right of the big tree, waiting 20 seconds, and firing a few unsuppressed weapon shots. If you're out of smoke grenades, you may need to use spider camo to camouflage yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end fight, explained in as much detail as I can possibly give, and your reward for defeating the end non-lethally is his Mosin, which is amazing against the Fury, Volgin, and the boss. Now, if you don't want to defeat the end like this, you can set your calendar 1 week ahead, either on your game console's system settings or computer settings, boot up your save, and the end will die of old age. You will not get his Mosin, however, it will skip the fight entirely. It is completely up to you. It is completely possible to beat all the other bosses with just the Mark 22. No issue at all. Anyway, now we're coming up to the ladder. Please enjoy.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill. I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart. so supreme. I give my life, not for honor, but for you. In my time, there'll be no one else. Crime, it's the way I fly to you. I'm still in a dream, snake eater. I'm still in a dream, snake eater.
After we get past the most iconic part of this game, we're going into the mountains. Before we save, we can switch to our animals camo. I will also demonstrate a way to clear this room with spider camo. In either case, let's optimize our loadout by getting rid of the SIG gas spray, and otherwise, getting ready with our suppressors and saving. Now, if you want to use spider camo, either way, run north with your animals camo to pick up some smoke grenades and some serum. We're going to keep rolling, and once you get past this cliff, we're going to move up a bit. You're going to see a snake on the ground. Once you get next to this snake, you're going to switch to spider camo. With spider camo, you're basically just going to make a beeline in this direction. Just keep on rolling and get to the other end of the room. You are basically invisible unless you get right next to the guards. The guard on the right may turn around. He's not going to see you. You can go a little bit more right to avoid this guard on the left and just book it to the next area. No problem at all. If you would prefer to use animals camo just to conserve your stamina, you basically start the same way. Go pick up the smoke grenades, roll off the cliff. Instead, we're going to have to shoot a few guards. So depending on your ammo, you may be able to do this no problem, or you may need spider camo. Regardless, go all the way to the left. A guard may notice you, but you're way too far, and animals camo provides a lot of coverage in this environment. CQC this guard, then headshot the guard just directly to your north right. Keep going to the left of this rock. As long as you're decently quick, you shouldn't be spotted. Then behind this rock, just look in first person view to see this guard. You can wait for him to turn around, or if you want to go quick, just shoot him and move on to the next area. There is a lot of ammo that we can pick up in this next area, so don't worry too much as long as you have a single bullet. Now, you're going to immediately aim up ahead and then shoot this guard in front of you, then the guard on the left. Go to the right, you're going to see a little crevice with a ton of ammo pickups, especially for Mark 22. Pick them all up and you should be all set for ammo. Now, you can go in this little crevice to get some stun grenades if you need them. Go up this hill, but not too far up. You're going to stand on your tiptoes in first-person view to headshot this guard. Again, for the reasons I've mentioned before, he will not be able to see you. So you can just keep rolling, rolling, and rolling up the mountain. Coming up just around this corner, there is this guard that you can CQC slam if you've taken this room quick enough. Otherwise, you may need to wait for an opening just below the ledge to headshot him. Go down this path, it's my preferred method anyway, and get behind this rock. Nobody should see you, but the guard may notice your presence on the right. But as long as you don't dilly-dally, you should be fine. Once that guard passes him, headshot the guard on the right, then the guard on the left, or double body shot him, whatever's easier. There's another guard behind this shack. You can lean to take him out behind the shack, or you can CQC slam him. Do whatever is easiest for you, and we'll move on to the next area, Mountains 3. For Mountains 3, I'll demonstrate two different strategies. Now, spider camo is again a viable option for this room. Get right by this barrel, and then put on spider camo. As long as you have about half stamina, you can run up this path and roll behind this guard across the gap. Keep on rolling, clear the gap again, roll up this hill, keep on going. By this shack, we're going to go inside to pick up some TNT and claymores, which can be useful for the first Volgin fight. We're going to go up these two steps, roll, roll to the right, roll one more time, and once we get in this little corner, we can just switch back to animal's camo, as when you have no stamina, spider camo will not work anymore. It doesn't provide any additional camouflage, and by the time we're here, no other guard will have spotted us. Now that can be a bit difficult, so if you prefer animal's camo instead, you can start off by shooting the guard all the way in the top left, the guard in the middle, the guard inside the crevice, you may need to go on your tiptoes, and then the guard by the gun turret. You may need to body shot him twice instead of headshotting him. He can be a little difficult from that far away. Just keep on rolling in this path, and around the corner on the left, there is a guard that you could either CQC slam or headshot after leaning behind the wall. Either way, go into the shack and pick up the TNT and the claymores. Afterwards, there is only one more guard that we need to worry about. He's just a little bit up ahead. After we go under this bridge, we're going to position ourselves still behind this wall, lean left, and when it's clear, we can headshot him. Afterwards, we can proceed to the next area. We're going to be picking up some food, which is very useful if your stamina is low or if you've been using spider camo a lot. Here you can pick up some noodles, depending on how low your stamina is or how often you want to use spider camo. This is an excellent thing to have. We'll pick up some additional ammo, and for the next area, I'm going to show you how to do it with animals camo, but if you want to do it with spider camo, the same rule applies. I reloaded an auto-save for this part, but you may want to manually save. In either case, keep rolling down like I do, and if you're quick enough, you should be able to go up these 2 steps before the pyro guy sees you. You can roll all the way down to this red door, and then go to the next area just before the Fury. If that's too difficult, just use spider camo and then have something to eat right after. You did just pick up 2 packs of noodles, so it won't be a problem. Now for the Fury, I'm going to show you how to do what's basically kind of a pseudo loop. It's not 100% consistent, but it does let you get free damage on him. You're going to want to have, ideally, a full belly, or the animal's camo to stabilize your aim. If you have the fire camo from a New Game Plus run, now is the time to put it on. Otherwise, make sure your suppressor on your Mark 22 is unequipped, and you have your Mosin equipped. We're going to start the fight, and then save. Now, the Fury has a lot of RNG, but he's generally an easier fight in Delta compared to the original game. At the start of the fight, he will either go to the left or the right, and you need to use audio to determine what side he is going to land on. You can use your headphones, or if you have high-quality speakers, those work as well. There is kind of a pseudo loop that involves shooting his chest and his leg repeatedly. When he's about to do his jetpack charge, you can shoot him to interrupt him, and as long as you don't knock him down or get him off the ledge, he will try to fire again, and then you can alternate between shooting his leg and chest. I will try to demonstrate it starting now. So as you can see here, he uses his flamethrower. He's about to charge towards us. I shoot his leg, wait for him to fire again, then I shoot his chest. I don't do enough damage to actually do a knockout or knock him off the ledge, and I repeat this cycle as often as I can in between his leg and chest. The problem is the Mosin does a ton of pushback, and eventually he's going to fall off the ledge and fly around. So, if he's not that far ahead, you won't be able to loop him, and you're going to have to find him again. I actually shot him in the chest again. This actually caused him to get knocked down. This means I have to listen to where he is, find him, and then shoot him again. Luckily, he doesn't have too much health left, so it's not a difficult matter. One thing throughout this fight that you may notice is that the Fury's fire hit detection is not very good. Generally, if you're on a different level than he is, like you're higher and he's lower, the fire won't actually hit you. Even as close as point blank, it's still not the easiest fight, but it's not too difficult. After the fight, there is some Mark 22 ammo if you need it, and most importantly, a Mark 22 suppressor. This is probably the last suppressor we're going to need. We're going to start Groznyj Grad and get to the part where we need to steal Rykov's disguise. This will be our next save. However, we're just going to do a bit of tidying up with our items and also eat some food, as Animal's camo is not very good here. You can switch to Tiger Stripe, Black, Spirit, etc. All of those will work pretty well in this environment. Otherwise, one thing you'll definitely want to make sure you have is your smoke grenades, along with your M19 and your Mark 22. I'm going to wear a Tiger Stripe, and then I'm going to save. Go up the stairs and then headshot a guard that's just north of you. When you headshot this guard, there is a guard behind the top left box that will get distracted from his buddy getting knocked out. Go to the left of him, stay by the corner by the wall. You're going to aim, lean, and then shoot the guard just behind this corner without sticking your head out too much. If you do this correctly, nobody will spot you. You can go into the door to the next room. For this area, go right, roll a few times. You're going to see a guard that you can just CQC slam knock out. There is another guard north of you. He will notice your presence, but he's not actually going to cause a problem. You can just headshot him and make a beeline for the door. As long as you're quick enough, none of the guards will spot you, but you can shoot them if you need to. Now we're going to save here and then capture Rykov. This is a really easy way to capture Rykov. Have your smoke grenades and M19 equipped. Wait for the guard on the top right to turn. Run up between the second and third pillar and throw the grenade at the stairs. Go up to where the smoke is, turn to the right, and shoot this guard in the leg. When you shoot this guard, Rykov, who is across that top hallway, is going to run by this door here. You're going to CQC slam or CQC hold him and drag him to the lockers. If you do this correctly, not a single person will have spotted you, and you'll have more than enough time to drag him without causing an alert. I've literally done this with gold camo for an example of how easy, consistent, and reliable it is. There's basically no issues that you have to worry about. Just remember, wait for Rykov to go in the door before you throw the smoke grenade. After we steal Rykov's clothes and lunch money, we go into the next loading zone. Before we enter the next room, which is just before the torture sequence, we need to equip the officer uniform and the Rykov mask. Otherwise, the game will not allow us to proceed.
All I want.
Now, this is the torture sequence where Volgin basically just beats the absolute crap out of Snake. Unlike the original Metal Gear Solid 3, you cannot prevent damage that you take from the torture. You used to be able to do this by holding down the weapon or item menu button, and it would stop Snake from taking damage during the sequence. However, that no longer works. But when you get to the prison cell, you actually have full health anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I thought it was an interesting change.
I guess he's dead. Now then, I hope you'll prove more entertaining than he was. But first, let's take a look at your body, shall we? What a beautiful body you have, like a newborn baby. But not for long. Well then, let's get started. What is your target? Is it the Shagohod? Or Sokolov? Or maybe it's the Legacy? Answer me! Who is helping you? Who let you in here? You're a tough one, but even you must have your limits. And I am a patient man.
Once you get control of Snake, pick up this fork, then stand in front of the prison door. Wait for Johnny to throw the food at you. Then we'll go into the cure menu, take out the fake death pill and the transmitter. In the cure menu, we're going to spin Snake's model about 11 times, and this will cause him to throw up. When Snake throws up, Johnny will open the cell. We're going to punch, kick him, and then kick him 2 more times so we can loot his body for smoke grenades and instant noodles. I'll demonstrate now.
What's wrong? Are you okay? Oh, jeez. Did you throw up?
Before you go to the next area, make sure you have the bats and the smoke grenades equipped and that you've eaten the instant noodles. Otherwise, Snake's stomach growling can actually give away his location.
I want some more.
This is also going to be my next manual save point. Now for the first method, you can throw the food at the wall to distract the guard at the left. When he's turned away, you're going to want to do about 4 or 5 rolls, absolutely booking it to the left. You're going to roll on top of this concrete slab, then roll into prone into the next area. This is really difficult. This other method is quite safe, pretty consistent and easy. It is a fair bit slower, however. Wait for this guard at the bottom right to turn around, then go to the left. As you can see here, you're going to roll to the second row of barrels and crouch. And tilt your camera up. There is another guard, as you can see on the top left. When he turns to the right, you're just going to book it left and then go into the hole in the wall to the next loading zone. We'll demonstrate now. For this next area, just run or roll all the way to the left to the next door. As long as you don't wait around, nobody should spot you. For the next room after this, there are 2 ways you can tackle it, but it is quite difficult. Just something to keep in mind. Go to the right of this truck with your smoke grenades equipped. Go past this pylon. Go past the searchlight. Wait by the corner of this wall. Throw 1 smoke grenade to the guard at the left. 1 in front of you. Tackle this guard with a roll. Throw a smoke grenade ahead of you, just by the dog. Use it as cover to roll over the dog, then go past the gate, go prone, and then crawl to the sewers. This takes quite a bit of practice. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but it is pretty consistent once you get the hang of it. Now, alternatively, you can go to the left of the truck, and once you get to the pylon, head diagonally towards the tank at the top left, stand on this yellow line, throw a smoke grenade at this guard here. Once it goes off, run up and throw a smoke grenade behind him. If you do this correctly, this should provide you additional cover. Then you can throw another smoke grenade to cover your exit, and if you do this correctly, nobody will have spotted you. This area can be really tough, regardless of the method that you use, but I find this to be the quickest and most efficient ways that you can tackle the last prison escape sequence without wasting a crazy amount of time. Anyways, we'll go down to the sewers and then skip the Kodak call when we get to it. Now, normally, I would just fall off this ledge without catching myself, or I would roll off. This would damage myself, making it easier to end the Sorrow fight. However, I do want to actually get Spirit Camo, but I will demonstrate the alternate method you can use if you just want to skip the fight. One thing you should do, if you have not done so already, is make sure you have no food equipped in your backpack. We still have the rat. The reason for this is because if we have any food, by the time we get to the Eva escort portion, we won't have the instant noodles available to us, which is a little bit annoying. Regardless, once you have no food in your backpack, just follow the path I am taking to avoid the dogs, and then we will start the Sorrow fight. Now, if you already have the Spirit Camo, or you don't care, the easiest way just to get past this fight is to either drown Snake or shoot himself with the RPG. If you don't have the RPG, just go underwater, wait for Snake to drown, then use the revival pill to end the fight. Now, if you do want to get the Spirit Camo, you just have to trudge slowly through this river. As far as I am aware, this is just like the original Metal Gear Solid 3, where the in-game timer does not go up while you're in the Sorrows River. You can be here as long as you want. The timer will not go up, unless I'm wrong. The only 4 spirits we have to avoid are the 4 bosses that we've taken out, which are the Cobras, and any, I guess you could call them spiritual blasts from the Sorrow himself. If we make it to the end of the river, you can see the Sorrow's corpse. Once you get there, the end result is the same. Use the revival pill. When you meet Eva after this, behind the waterfall, you will have Spirit Camo in your back. Otherwise, enjoy the seance? Vision? I don't know what you'd call it. Enjoy the show.
How much more can you take? Go. You know your sons and your sons' sons.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the show and the jump scare. Anyway, for this area, just follow the path. We're going to go north of this room, get behind the waterfall, and meet Eva. As an additional note, this area is the reason why we removed the transmitter in the prison cell. If we did not do this, this area would be full of Ocelot unit guards, and it would be absolutely miserable to get by, so it's always worth to take the time to take out the transmitter. Once you get control of Snake, go to the left to pick up another suppressor for your Mark 22, should you end up needing it. There is plenty of ammo and other stuff you can pick up here. Most notably, there is Cardboard Box B, which allows us to fast travel into the weapons lab in the next area of the game. I'd strongly recommend that you pick it up to save you time and ammo. However, I would recommend tidying up our menus before we do that. We will definitely want our Mark 22 equipped, along with the Patriot or AK-47. We also want the Mosin and our C3 equipped, along with Cardboard Box B. Do note, if you are not going to defeat Volgin lethally, you do not need the Patriot or AK-47 equipped. It won't be necessary. After a bit of testing, I found this to be an easy strategy. Shoot this guard, then shoot the guard at the outpost to the right of you. Then you're going to go south and go all the way around the perimeter to the truck at the very north. As long as you hug the wall and maybe change the camo if you find it's necessary. But regardless, with Tiger Stripe and no paint, I didn't get spotted. If you want a little bit more camo to feel more comfortable, by all means do so. Otherwise, you see that guards do notice our presence, but they don't actually cause an alert. Just keep on rolling all the way to this truck and throw on Cardboard Box B to fast travel into the weapons lab. Once we are inside the weapons lab, we're going to pick up this Mosin ammo and make a quick detour up these stairs to pick up the sneaking suit and the maintenance uniform. If you already have the sneaking suit, you can still go here to pick up the maintenance uniform, as you don't keep it in between playthroughs. If you're going to use spider camo for the weapons lab, then you don't need to go here at all. This is where the sneaking suit would be. It's the locker with the red line. The maintenance uniform is in this locker. It's the second one on the right. I'll show you two ways to deal with the weapons lab, both with spider camo and spirit camo, or with the maintenance uniform. Otherwise, this is where I'm going to save. Once we reload our save, we're just going to start off by rolling down the stairs before we switch our camo. Once we get past the corner where the Mosin ammo was, we're going to switch to spider camo. As I've mentioned many times before, you are basically invisible with spider camo on. Just follow this path I'm taking to place the first C3 on the left. You can go to the right of this box and actually roll over this ledge. You're going to completely avoid that maintenance worker. There's a small codec you can skip after you place the second C3. Go down, diagonally left. You're going to see that guard notice your presence, but he's way too blind to actually do anything. Go all the way left to plant the third C3. There's a guard here. We're going to switch to our spirit camo. Then you need to switch off your C3 because you cannot use CQC with it. We're going to CQC choke out this guard, and this will replenish our stamina fully. Afterwards, we can go up the stairs and place the last C3 to enter the first Volgin fight. Now, if you want to use the maintenance uniform instead, the method is very similar. Just roll down the stairs and Tiger Stripe. Once you get to the corner, switch to your maintenance uniform. The only main difference is that you want to have your C3 and no weapon equipped. When you're running around, if there's a guard in your view, make sure you don't have your C3, otherwise he can spot you and cause an alert. You also want to avoid any engineers that are nearby, much like the scientists. That one ahead of you is the only one you really have to worry about. So just stay behind this box, wait for him to go left, and then you can make your way past the other fuel tanks and place the C3 as you need.
During the last...
Now we're going to fight Volgin. Before we save, we're just going to change up our loadout. You're going to want to throw on the Metal Gear Solid 3 sneaking suit. You will also want to, depending on your method, have your Mosin or Patriot equipped. If you're doing it lethally, you'll also want TNT and Claymores. I'll show you both methods coming up after we save. At the start of the fight, run up to Volgin and CQC slam him on the ground. When Volgin is getting up, such that he's on his legs, you're going to fire 4 Mark 22 shots into his back or head. After you do this, go to the left or right of him. Volgin is going to face you and say, "Here it comes." When he does that, get behind him, shoot him 4 times again. Afterwards, go to the center of the room. Volgin will do an electric attack. You're going to go around the corner, rolling to avoid it, CQC slam him, and do the same thing where as he's getting up, shoot him 4 more times. We're going to repeat this 1 more time, except we need to have our gun out in the middle of the room. Then when Volgin is doing his electric attack, we switch off it, go around him, and then throw him to go into phase 2. At the start of phase 2, you're actually going to roll directly in front of Volgin and go prone. After the bullet storm, get onto a crouch animation, and then CQC slam him into the ground. When Volgin is getting up, switch to your Mosin this time and fire 4 shots into his back. When Volgin is turning around, we're now going to throw on the Rykov mask. This is going to distract him. This gives us plenty of time to shoot him with the Mosin. If Volgin is not dead at this point, use your fake death pill, wait for him to walk past your body, then end the fight.
He's dead already? That was fun.
When you defeat Volgin non-lethally, he will drop the Cold War camo right next to his body. Please pick it up for the bike chase. It's very important. At the start of phase 1 for a lethal strategy, equip your Patriot, then unequip it when Volgin is doing his electric attack. What you want to do is then CQC slam him. Then, when he's getting up, you're going to shoot him with the Patriot or the AK-47 if you have it, and you're going to go behind Volgin after he uncrosses his arms and gets back on his legs. You're going to repeat this over and over again to end phase 1. You just need to wait for him to say, "Here it comes," after you shoot him twice. Again, the key visual cue is when Volgin uncrosses his arms and gets back to his normal stance. Then you can shoot his back before he shoots you with electric beams. Now, for phase 2, get down on the ground immediately and place a TNT right where you are. You can unequip the Patriot. Once the bullet storm gets out, get up, detonate the TNT when Volgin runs over, and you're basically going to loop him by placing the TNT, running away, detonating it, and repeating. After you run out of TNT, you're going to do the same thing, but with Claymores. This will kill Volgin, but it does not count as a kill for your scorecard. This also does not give you the Cold War camo, so if you already have it, you can do a lethal strategy, but if you don't have the Cold War camo, I would strongly recommend getting it by doing a non-lethal fight. Coming up, we have the bike chase, which is going to be our next save. Obviously, before we save, we're just going to change our loadout to have the Patriot unequipped. You'll also want the SVD, Mosin, and RPG. You can also unequip TNT and Claymores, and most importantly, you can equip the Cold War camo. Then, you can save after having your Mark 22 or Mosin equipped. The main reason we have the Cold War camo for this section is because there are two sides to it, the Soviet flag and the American flag. As long as Snake is facing the enemies so that they see the Soviet flag, they will not shoot you. If you do not have the Cold War camo, the best thing you need to do is memorize where the guards spawn and shoot them ASAP. You'll likely need to have the sneaking suit or OSCAM to reduce damage. However, it's a pretty difficult part of the game, especially if you're on controller, but the Cold War camo makes it a joke because, again, as long as Snake is facing the enemies, they will not shoot you. And as you can see, for an example, I missed those guards by quite a few times. If I did not have the Cold War camo, they would have been absolutely wailing on me. Same with some of these guards here. They're not going to do anything. You have all the time in the world to take them out. It makes the bike chase so much easier. I basically never die during this at all.
Snake, behind you!
For a general rule of thumb, if you see any guard with a rocket launcher, you should prioritize them, as if they shoot you, they can do massive damage. There's going to be one after this set of 6 guards that's on the top left roof. You need to shoot him, or at least face him the whole time. Otherwise, you'll probably die. As an additional note, some people think the Cold War camo has been nerfed compared to the original Metal Gear Solid 3. I haven't really had any difference in my experience with it, though one commenter on my camo tier list video did mention it appears the enemies will not de-aggro immediately if they see the American flag and then you face them. Maybe that's the experience as to why people get shot more with the Cold War camo. But basically, as you see here, when I turn away, the guards see the American flag, they start shooting me. So that's pretty consistent with my experience. Even this rocket launcher guy who would normally absolutely destroy you if you don't face him or shoot him, didn't do anything to me. So, again, this makes the bike chase way easier, and I'd strongly recommend always having it, even if you take a little bit more damage than how you would in the original game. For the runway section, you don't really have to worry about getting shot again, but for peace of mind, you want to prioritize shooting the gunmen if you can, or absolutely just knocking them all out, as I did. There can only be a maximum of 4 bikes on the screen. So if you shoot the gunmen but not the drivers, no more will spawn in. And as an additional note, if you don't aim in first-person view, Snake's auto-aim is actually quite decent, and you can pick off the gunman and the driver without much of a problem. As you can see here, I'm not even moving the stick. Snake just automatically locks on, and then I release the fire button. Now for this part, the bikers will not shoot you at all. You don't need to interact with them or shoot them. Don't worry about it. I would recommend having your RPG and your SVD ready. Ideally, we are trying to get some chip damage on the Shagohod before we fight it. You can get as high as 40%, I believe, if you're really, really good, and even chip him during the earlier bike chase sequences. Otherwise, aim dead center of the Shagohod and try to get as much chip damage as possible. Now, if the Shagohod does fire missiles, switch to your SVD and shoot them down in the sky. I'd recommend aiming outside of the scope, then firing once you have a clear shot. Now for this bridge section, you're going to shoot 3 of the 4 bombs, and when Eva says the Shagohod is here, you shoot the last bomb. There is one hanging on a rail that swings back and forth. I'd recommend making sure it's not the last one, as it can be difficult to hit. Otherwise, aim where the last bomb is, and fire when Eva says it's here.
It's still true. It's here!
Afterwards, we're going to start the Shagohod fight. Make sure you have your RPG and SVD equipped, then go save. You may want to switch to the sneaking suit as well. Now, the Shagohod is not that difficult of a fight. You shoot the treads with the rocket launcher. Then, when you have an opening to shoot the back of the Shagohod, you do so with the rocket launcher. Eva will generally try to take the path of least resistance, but not always. In either case, you basically repeat this until the Shagohod is dead. There's not too much to say about it, except if the Shagohod has been left idle for too long or is below half health, he will fire missiles even when stunned. You need to have your SVD aimed to destroy these missiles before they hit you. I'd recommend aiming outside of scope, then firing, as when Snake aims in scope, he turns very slowly. It is possible to loop the Shagohod, but the timing is very tight. I couldn't even really do it. And if you mess up the loop at any point, it basically just turns into a regular fight. If you want to see how to do this, Theory is a great Metal Gear Solid Delta and Metal Gear Solid 3 speedrunner who demonstrated a great video on how to do it, linked in the description below. This is a great example of why you want to have the sneaking suit on. If it's a tough angle to shoot the Shagohod's treads, the gun turret can do quite a bit of damage. It's not as bad as the missiles, but it is something to consider. I'm generally not too worried about the Shagohod, but if you have a lot of trouble, make sure you have the sneaking suit on. now we're going to start the second Volgin fight. You need to defeat him non-lethally. Have your RPG and your Mosin equipped. When Eva flinches in the scope, shoot the Shagohod's treads, then try to shoot Volgin 2 times if you can. If you get 1, at least try to make it a headshot. Volgin will go to the center. When he stops moving and faces you, shoot the tread, then shoot Volgin again, and you're basically going to repeat this process. Make sure you're not too greedy like I am with the shots to avoid that damage. But regardless, once you shoot the tire, just shoot Volgin. He can't take a lot of hits. If he does shoot missiles at you, you need to shoot them with the SVD. Otherwise, shoot him with the RPG. He turns. You need to shoot his head. If Volgin is facing you, he will block the Mosin damage, so try to get him from the side or from behind. Sometimes Eva will also damage the Shagohod's treads, which gives you a free opening to shoot Volgin with the Mosin again. If you're having trouble, you can save at the start of the fight and reload as often as you want. It does take a bit of practice. Otherwise, I'm going to save at the start of the next bike chase. Now, at the start of the bike chase, all you really have to do is just shoot the motorbikes. You don't have to worry about the flying guards. They won't attack you. Just take them out. Again, make sure you have your Cold War camo on as well to prevent any unnecessary damage. And as you can see, auto aim, again, working its magic. Not moving the stick, not first person view. Snake just shoots them. It's really funny, honestly. Same sort of thing for this set of bikers. Just take them out as soon as possible. The Cold War camo will stop you from getting shot. For this barricade coming up, Eva will drive straight relatively for a few seconds, so you can pick off a few guards if your aim is relatively steady. Otherwise, just try to face them so you take minimal damage. They may shoot you a few times. There's a guy just by the exit. It's not a big deal at all. Either case, just face them as long as you can. There's one more barricade you're going to have to deal with. There is a guard at the left. He has a rocket launcher. He's the only guy you should shoot, if nothing else. Now, coming up, there's a section where 3 flying guards will constantly chase you down. I find auto-aim really, really good in this section. You can just tactical reload, aim, fire, wait for Snake to turn so he locks onto their bodies, and generally he'll shoot them no problem. As normally, shooting them in first-person view can actually be kind of difficult because the aim is very jittery on the bike. Now, with the positioning of the guards, sometimes they do fly past the Soviet flag side and will start shooting you. This is just something to be wary of. Typically, the guy you will worry about the most is the one in the middle and the one to the right of Snake. The guard on the left of Snake, typically not that much of a problem. But again, just something to consider to mind your positioning. Regardless, with Cold War camo, you shouldn't take much damage anyway. One thing to note, if you shoot the guards, sometimes they can actually fall and crash onto you, which will do damage. It's very annoying when that happens, but there's not really anything you can do about it. Coming up, Eva is going to say there's a log. When Eva says, shoot the log, that's when I turn around and then shoot it with the SVD or the RPG. I prefer the SVD just to avoid splash damage. For the last part of the bike chase, it's the same thing as the railway. Ideally, just shoot the gunman, leave the drivers alone. There can only be 4 bikers at a time, so if you just shoot the gunman, no more will spawn. And then you can just chill.
jump! Hold on tight! What do you think of that?
After the bike chase, both Snake and Eva get heavily injured. To progress, I think you only actually have to cure Eva's injuries, but I opt to cure Snake's as well. Once you get control of Snake, what I'd recommend doing is going over here to get the pickups that you may need. Could be ammo, smoke grenades, etc. Then get next to Eva and feed her a pack of instant noodles. This should be the only time you have to feed her, ideally anyway. Afterwards, you can optimize your loadout. You'll need the Mark 22, the Mosin. You can also have the RPG and the smoke grenades if you'd like. I'd also recommend making sure you have your suppressor on and switching to something like the sneaking suit, leaf camo, anything that's not Cold War so you can hide in the jungle. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do the first room, and then I'll show you the other parts of the Eva escort. When you're going into the next room, you don't actually have to call Eva over. You can just run and progress to the next loading zone before we save. For the smoke grenade method, take a few steps forward and use the action button to call Eva over. You have to stay relatively close to her so she doesn't lose sight of you, and also that she doesn't take really weird lines to follow your path. In either case, you're going to go down south. You're going to see a little ledge that you can go next to. Get right there. Switch to your smoke grenades. Aim in between these 2 trees. When Eva is past the white smoke radius, throw the grenade. This will provide coverage from the enemies and give you cover to proceed. Don't throw it too early, though. If you throw it while Eva is in that white radius, the grenade will hit her, she'll get stunned, and you'll probably have to reset. If you want some additional coverage, throw another grenade like I did behind her, and then make sure Eva follows your path. Here, especially, if you're around this corner and Eva hasn't cleared the corner yet, she might get lost and say, "Snake, where are you?" and then stop moving. It's really annoying when that happens, but otherwise, this is a pretty easy way to clear this room. Now, this is one of my favorite methods because I think it's really funny. Go up to this tree, call Eva, take your RPG, turn around, and shoot the wall behind her. The guards that are chasing you are actually coming from behind that wall, but if you shoot the RPG, it scares them and makes them stay in spot for a crazy amount of time. Thus, you can call Eva and follow the path to the next room that I showed you before without any real worries. I find this strategy to be really funny. I think it might have been possible in the original Metal Gear Solid 3, but I've never seen anybody do it. I only saw a speedrunner do it in a race recently for Delta, and I thought, wow, that's hilarious. I should do that from now on. So I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Anyway, just proceed to the next room. Don't go too far from Eva. Make sure she's always in relatively your line of sight. Now, as an additional note, you'll need to re-equip your Mark 22. Look left, lean, and then shoot this guard by the wall. You need to stand on your tiptoes afterwards. There's a guard walking towards you. You can headshot him. He's coming in between those 2 trees. Move up a bit to this tree, and there are 2 guards you can see up ahead. If you miss shooting them, it's not a big deal because it does keep them relatively in place, so you can get free headshots. Don't worry about an alert. They can't see you from that far away, especially if you have a tree as cover. Then there's another guard on the right that you can shoot. There are 5 guards in this area total that you have to worry about. Once they're all taken out, they won't wake up, so just call Eva over and make your way to the left path. As an additional note, you don't actually have to keep calling Eva with the action button unless she stops moving. I kind of just do it out of habit. But regardless, as long as she's moving and in your sight and you're not too close to her such that she stops, you only ever really need to call her once per room. Now, moving up ahead, there's a little shrub on the right that we can punch, kick. When we kick it, it will cause the guard directly below this ledge to hear the noise and start making his way all the way around to see what the noise was. We can shoot a guard directly ahead of us in the meantime. There's another guard to the left. You can see him. He's flipping out because we just shot his buddy. Wait for him to go back to his regular position. Once he's stable, headshot him, then make your way to that ledge just straight ahead. There is another guard on the right patch of grass near the log. As long as you're not too close to that patch of grass, he won't actually spot you. Just don't take too wide of a turn. Follow the path I'm taking and you shouldn't have any problems. Eva may also start to get a little bit hungry around this time, but it doesn't matter. Coming up is the last fight in the game, which is the boss. What I would recommend doing is obviously making sure you have the sneaking suit available. Unequip the suppressor on your Mark 22. I like to have no weapon equipped with my Mosin on my previous. I'm going to show you two methods to take down the boss. One is more straightforward, where I rush her down, CQC counter her, and then shoot her with the Mosin. The other involves basically camping her out after the first counter. This will be our next save. However, I'm pretty sure you need to counter the boss once in order to get to the codec. So just counter her by pressing the counter button when the slowdown animation happens. Then we can save. Now, in my opinion, the most straightforward way to take down the boss is the rushdown method. In Legacy style, the boss will only ever do single counters. Unlike New Style, she does not do double counters, so you don't have to worry after you counter her initial attack. The strategy is simple. After you slam the boss to the ground, shoot her 3 times with the Mosin, then run behind a tree to take cover. If the boss runs, chase after her, then she's going to repeat her CQC sequence. Make sure you have no weapon equipped. Press the B button when she rushes you, and the game starts to slow down. If you have a weapon like the Mosin equipped, this slowdown effect will not happen, and then the boss will just slam you to the ground. So again, make sure during the CQC sequence, you don't have any weapon equipped. I'll show this strategy in action now.
Excellent. You're better than I remember.
Here I come.
Sometimes the boss might actually rush you down instead of hiding, but it's not really a big deal. She will always have an audio cue just for you to be ready. Always make sure your weapon is not equipped until she's on the ground. And that's the boss. Now, there is an alternate method I will show if countering her consistently is troublesome for you. Now, the second method is basically camping the boss out. We still start the fight basically the same way. We need to stop the initial rush, either by doing a CQC counter or interrupting her rushdown with a punch kick, which I'll demonstrate in the video later. Then we're going to roll to the tree with the green snake by it. The boss will head north of the map and go back and forth between 2 trees. While she's hiding, we're going to run to the log close to us, camp by it by crouching, and basically shoot her as she goes in between those two trees. The boss will generally avoid going where Snake is aiming the Mosin, which basically causes her to loop between the two trees if we cover her left side. It's pretty consistent. I'll demonstrate it now.
You're made of. Excellent job.
As you can see, the boss sidesteps. When she does, we're going to shoot her in the head with the Mosin. She will go back and forth, but because I didn't cover her left side early enough, she actually makes a beeline to the left. This is not a big deal. As long as she doesn't get too close to us, we can force her back to the right by covering our left side. This loop, while pretty consistent, is not always 100% foolproof, so it's just something to keep in mind if you're really having trouble getting those counters on her. As you can see, we aim to the left of her, and she goes to the right. Coming up again, she'll poke her head out. We'll shoot her. Sometimes she may do a quick peek instead of a step out, so it's just something to consider to avoid wasting Mosin ammo. As you can also see, she aims for Snake's center mass, but because he's crouched behind the log, she won't ever actually hit him with the Patriot. It's also kind of funny, as you zoom in with the Mosin, you can see the boss throughout the fight get more and more Mosin darts stuck in her head. I think it's just kind of funny. But yep, if you're really having trouble getting these counters, the camping method works well. It is a fair bit slower, but you should never have to worry about the 10-minute timer that this fight has. And there you go. That's the boss done with basically no effort. If you don't have the Snake camo already from defeating her non-lethally, you can pick it up now. Afterwards, there is an unskippable cutscene where Snake must pull the trigger to end the boss's life. There is another sequence that we have to do with Ocelot after, which I will explain in a minute.
Take this. Keep it safe. It's our only hope.
A patriot? Why are you giving me this?
Jack. Or should I say, Snake. You're a wonderful man. Kill me. Kill me now. Do it. There's only room for one boss and one Snake.
After you skip the cutscene, this part with Ocelot, pick the revolver on the left then fire all 6 bullets as fast as possible to end this sequence. At this point, congratulations, you are officially done everything there is in Metal Gear Solid Delta. We can now skip past the credits, past the post-credits cutscene to see our final scorecard, skip through all the codecs, ignore all the save prompts, etc., and we will see our final score. And there you have it, Foxhound Rank for Metal Gear Solid Delta, European Extreme, Legacy Style. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I love the Metal Gear series. 3 is my favorite game, and Delta has been up there as well. Hopefully, this inspires you guys to do your own Foxhound run, whether it's with Legacy style or new style. I hope you enjoyed this, and that some of these strategies can be useful to you. Thank you, and have a great day.